don't know about you, Mike, but I am still very tired.
I was in the mode taking a nap.
Oh, I mean, you can go back to napping if you're trying to nap it up.
All right.
All right. Mike and I, if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, what are these guys talking about? Why are they talking about naps? Mike and I just had the privilege and pleasure of traveling to Los Angeles to go to Summer Game Fest and to go to Play Days. We got to see a lot of our amazing friends and peers in the industry. We got to play a lot of amazing things. We got to be guests on the Game Informer watch along for the Summer Game Fest showcase. So definitely go over and check that out. If you missed it live, you can go on the Game Informer YouTube channel, and the VOD should be up over there. We did a bunch of things. We got to hang out with Giant Bomb, all of the stuff that you love, all of the stuff we love to do, and the people we love to see. Great times. Appreciate everyone who took time to spend time with us while we're out there, show us their games, buy us a drink, give us a coffee, whatever it may be. All that stuff, super, super appreciative. We always love seeing all the homies and seeing all the people that we love doing things that they love doing. So great times over there. But with all that being said, I mean, I don't want to vamp too much, Mike, because we do have quite a bit of games to get through. So I won't string the intro along too much longer. But what I will say is there is a chance that this becomes a two-part episode. We'll see how it goes. We do have a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. So if it does start to kind of run long, then we might end up cutting this and making a second recap episode because we don't want to glaze over stuff. We want to talk about things appropriately. Some stuff we're going to probably talk about longer. Some stuff we're probably not talking about as much. But we're definitely going to at least touch on everything that we had a chance to see while we were out there at Summer Game Fest. So, welcome, everyone, to the Pass the Controller podcast, a show where a couple of best friends talk about the latest in video games and nerd culture. Sometimes we have guests. Sometimes we talk about Summer Game Fest too much. Either way, we have a new episode for you each and every week. As always, I'm your host, and joining me on this lovely Thursday evening is the anime senpai himself, Mr. Michael Desir. Mike, how are you doing tonight?
Sweating.
Yeah. Did you still not put your AC in?
Literally last night. I mean, like literally 1 a.m. I was like, it's too hot, and I put my AC up. And when I put it up, I forgot that it was broken.
No.
It's not like broken. It's just like the power button on like the I don't know, the front of it does not work.
Okay.
So you have to press the button that's on the plug.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I hate that for you, but at least it works
Yeah,
in some capacity.
it works in some capacity. And like honestly, once I remembered that, I was like, oh, you know what? I should buy a new AC.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on the docket for
Yeah,
tomorrow or something this
that
weekend.
that might need to be something you do. Cool. Well, I'm glad you're alive, and I guess glad that if the only thing ailing you right now is sweating a little bit, I guess that's not too bad. But we got a great show for you tonight. Mike and I are recovering still. I'm still very tired. The last 2 days, I've been like a bag of cement trying to get out of bed in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, I need to maybe take an extra day off next year or something because I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we're old, or maybe we just shouldn't have stayed up until 4 a.m. every night while we were out there. Who's to say?
Both can be true at the
Listen,
same time.
listen. Eventually, we'll get this show sponsored by the Golden Gopher. I feel like that's just like a something we should probably make happen, right?
Yeah, start greasing some wheels. See if you can make it happen.
Might have to. But we had a great show for you tonight. Like I said, we're going to talk about Summer Game Fest. Before we get into that, a couple of quick housekeeping things. This episode, of course, sponsored by our good friends at Goodnight Fatty. If you're in the Salem, Massachusetts area or the North Shore of Massachusetts on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, you can head on down to 1 Washington Square and get yourself a delicious fatty. And if you're unaware of what a fatty is, you can check them out on social media at Goodnight Fatty and educate yourself on these tasty, tasty treats. All right, let's just actually, what's the PTC movie club pick? Because
My boy.
that's my boy. Well, if you are waiting for us to release the episode for May, I apologize, but I did give you a fair warning. SGF was going to probably ruffle the schedule quite a bit, so we will have that show episode for you at some point, but it is not tonight. and probably not next week, but we'll see. Maybe next week, but not tonight. Anyways, let's just dive right in, Mike. Do you want to do the honors? What we've decided, what we think maybe works the best, since there's so many things we have to jump around to, is maybe we each just go back and forth and kind of flowing that way of picking a thing that we saw and played and talking about it. So, do you want to take the honors, Mike?
I'll just make my life easier and start with Escape Academy 2.
Okay.
Academy 2.
This is one that we played together, which I did enjoy doing.
Yeah, and granted, I kind of forgot a lot about the first game, and that's not really relevant to the second one.
I don't think it is. I was trying to remember if I don't think it does. The first one I don't think is in like a school setting, right?
It was in, I think it was. There was
Maybe
a plot in that game.
I mean, it
there
is
was
called Escape Academy, so maybe it was in a school.
I believe the titular academy is where it takes place. And there was like a plot in that game because I remember
in this one. This one also has like seemingly a robust, at least characters. Like I don't know if there's like a full on cast. I mean, there seemed like there was some exposition they were explaining to us. Let's just quickly. I'm on the Escape Academy website because now I'm just curious. The website for the first game. Welcome to Escape Academy. Train to become the ultimate escape room master. Solve puzzles, hack servers, meet the faculty, brew the perfect cup of tea. Entirely playable in single player or co-op with a friend, local or online. Okay, so I guess you are just in this Escape Academy.
Yeah, they teach you how to escape.
Is the second game called? Okay, now we just sound like we don't know what video games are. The second one must be.
I mean, I don't. I'll be honest.
The second game is literally called Back to School.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
We are. I mean, we should have, but anyways, we're very professional podcast.
Rough start.
But listen, our expertise on the lore and the full name of the game is not what we're here to do. Let's talk about how bad we were at these puzzles, Mike.
Okay, number one, let's just get in front of it. If we can barely remember the name of the game, we probably weren't good at the puzzles.
Listen, they put a notebook in front of us and said, "Use this if you need with the puzzles." We didn't touch that fucking pen once, and we got so far. We broke the game. We didn't break the game. We went somewhere where they were not expecting us to go.
Although I think I spoke with someone else, and I think they were able to. I can't remember if they said they got through that puzzle. I think they did it. So we were just unlucky.
We were running out of time anyway. By the time we got
there. So it worked out.
I think I'm not surprised someone else went there because if I remember correctly, the way that the demo is set up, and I don't know if that's how the game actually begins, but maybe it does because it is kind of like feels like it is a little on-boardy there, but I want to say it's like tells you to go do this guy's stuff and then go to this department and do this guy's stuff. So I felt like we were just in the process of like, oh, we have to do this department, so like let's just keep furthering the story of this department. But it sounded like we were supposed to maybe jump around between the different. I mean, unless we just got through those puzzles fast enough that we got to that point, and maybe we weren't expected to get through the puzzles as quickly as we did. Which I don't think they were necessarily easy. I think they were like a fairly robust early game puzzles.
Yeah, and I did enjoy it. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it is a fun co-op experience. The whole puzzle solving thing, and geez, it was I think it was like literally the first game we played too.
I feel like it was one of our first appointments. Yeah, it to me is such a great co-op game. Like even couch co-op, because we played the first game.
I mean, you can play it single player, right? Like you don't have to play co-op, do you?
Yeah, the first one you didn't. You could play single player. So what I'm assuming is you must be able to switch back and forth to move both people, because I feel like you need two people.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Because I feel like there were puzzles that we were solving just by just by virtue of, hey, I'm gonna stand in front of this thing so you can look at this while I guess that's really where you're supposed to be using a notebook if you're playing by yourself.
Yeah, I guess you could do that too, but I actually have no idea how it functions solo because I never played it solo. I like we you and I played the first game online together, which I had a great time with. Playing it though, I would honestly say this. I would say this for the first game, based on how what happened in SGF. Like playing this side by side is like the idealist of ideal ways to play it. I think because I can
Yeah.
only imagine that like as the game goes on, or if you do like side puzzles that are maybe more difficult, having the person next to you and also probably having a notebook is very helpful. Um, I like just in that second puzzle room we got into because the first one was what was the first puzzle room? The second one was the lab, I think. So was the first one the bird that we had to feed?
I don't think the bird was the first one.
Was there something before that? There might have been. I don't
It
remember.
might have been. I mean, to be fair, the bird might have been the first one because like there was a couple of things we did before we actually got into a room,
Yeah, kind
so
of
I don't remember
tough.
what. Because
Yeah,
they're all like, hey, go see this professor. And we go over there, and some other professor grabbed us first and said, hey, come over here to my room.
yeah. So yeah, I mean it's an ideal co-op game. It's so much fun to play it that way. I'm sure you can still get some enjoyment because the puzzles are the puzzles no matter what. If you played it solo, but if you had the opportunity to play either of these games with a friend, with a partner, I think they're super. They benefit so much more from that experience. But the challenge, like we were saying, the puzzles off the bat were not. I wouldn't say they were just like breezy. Like the chemistry one, I'm so bad at chemistry. I would have been banging my head against the wall or trying to brute force my way through some parts of that because I just it's not my bag, and you were smashing that part out for us, which was great. So like having like the varying degrees of knowledge in certain things is definitely helpful, but just clever stuff off the bat, like in the bird one. We don't think we need to worry too much about like puzzle spoilers, I guess, at this point. But
Mhm.
there was some interesting things there where you had to match the bird's like song with other clues in the room to figure out how to like get the feet, like the worm to feed the bird. It's just like cascading puzzles, and this is kind of true for the whole game. It seems, at least for the rooms that we played, and I'm sure for other large swaths of the game. Each like there's like levels to the puzzles of like, oh, if you solve this part, it can get you this part, but then it doesn't solve it. You need to like use what you learned here to do this next piece. And I just think like the first game had a lot of really well crafted puzzle design, and I think this game already seems like it has a lot more of that. I'm I am struggling because I feel like the first game we played a long time ago. I don't even remember when it came out.
Yeah, it feels like a while ago. Uh, the the thing, I mean, maybe this is just true for like the puzzles we played. There were a couple puzzles where I'm still not sure if you're supposed to just go in there with, I will just say, real world knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, there's some puzzles where you can kind of look at something and say, okay, I think you're doing this, and based off of my understanding of this thing in the real world, I assume this would be the answer, as opposed to something that you have to solve within the confines of what you can see in the room. I don't know if I'm explaining that the way I want to.
Yeah, I mean, we just stick with the bird room because I feel like that's the easier one to explain. There was one puzzle in there where you had to. It seemed like you were kind of doing a very soft food chain puzzle.
Yes.
Um, we were both discussing initially, like, oh, is this the right order? Would this be the right order just based off common knowledge, like whatever common knowledge, or is there something in the room that would be giving us this actual answer? I want to say it's probably both. I can't imagine they would put it if it wasn't, if it was just supposed to be a common knowledge thing. I really wonder how many people would struggle with at least that specific puzzle. If they did that a lot throughout the game and there was more challenging common knowledge things, I do feel like that would not be great because you really have to kind of gauge how many people are going to know this thing and then kind of
Yeah.
go off of whatever. Like I do think that I would have been able to figure out the chemistry thing. It just would have taken me longer to figure out what to do in the like building the I don't know
molecule,
the molecule.
whatever.
Yeah. But
And even that, like, I don't think it actually
I think it was really
required.
just like you need to do 5 H's, and like I think it was just that.
Yeah, you just have to like do it, and like they did show you what molecule is supposed to look like on the board, so you can kind of just be like, okay, I think I need to do this, this, and this
Yeah.
to get it to work right.
Yeah. So those specific things I'm not super sure. I'm sure we could always reach out to the devs and ask. But Escape Academy 2, it's looking like it's something to keep on your radar, especially if you like a good puzzle game, especially if you like escape rooms, and especially if you are looking for like a pretty like communicative co-op game. Like you need to be able to speak to the person you're playing with. I think that game would be maybe worse if you played it in co-op and not spoke to and like not speaking to that person. It might actually be the worst way to play it.
The worst way to play it. Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to remember now because, like we were saying, that last puzzle that we broke the game, but also we had a actual appointment timer, but also that puzzle had a timer. The first few puzzles we played, like you could just kind of mosey around, and I kind of forgot like that was the like that is basically how you would get a fail state in the game, I suppose, like if you cannot complete a puzzle in time. I couldn't remember like how you had to progress in the game, so to speak. Not progress, but like
I think for
what you're
that
trying to avoid.
specific puzzle room, we were like taking an exam for that professor. So I would
Yeah.
imagine if you fail it within that, if you don't finish it within the time limit, you have to just
Mhm.
redo the whole thing again, would be my guess.
Yeah. And I think that's what happened in the other game too. I feel like what we essentially did was the tutorial, and then like after that, the real game begins where each major puzzle has a time limit.
Oh, was that how it works? That every puzzle had a time limit? I don't remember that.
I
I mean,
think
you could be right. I have no idea.
I don't remember either, but I feel like there must have been a thing. Otherwise, you could kind of, you know, pitter patter around forever.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. I don't know. But Escape Academy 2, definitely one to keep on your radar. Was a fan of that. I guess I'll take it next. And I guess for the next game we jump into, I'm going to go with a game we played with a few other people. And that game is N plus Infinity times 2. And if I remember correctly, you don't think you've played other N plus games before.
I think I might have back when it was a Flash game at some point.
I don't know if it was actually a Newgrounds game at some point, but it definitely the original N plus is old. When did the first N game come out? This is according to Wikipedia, so there's that. N is a freeware video game developed by MetaNet Software. It was inspired by Lode Runner. It was the first in the N series. March 1st, 2004.
Okay. I might have played it on. If I played it on an Xbox, it would have been 360.
Yeah, the 360 had N plus and maybe N plus plus, which were like on Xbox Live Arcade.
I might have played it back then.
Yeah.
I do have like a vague memory of.
It's definitely.
I don't want to call it that design because you're basically stick figures, but like
Yeah.
it seems familiar.
Yeah, no, it's definitely in your wheelhouse, especially with someone who plays games like a Meat Boy. Like they're not the same game, but also kind of very similar. But they're definitely like in the same vibe spectrum. So I can see it appealing to you that way at some point. I definitely had played a bunch of different. Like I wouldn't call myself an expert on the end games, and I definitely wouldn't say I'm necessarily good at the end games. But there were definitely different points of my life where I played a good amount of some versions of those games. Like I know I had other friends growing up that also I wouldn't maybe consider like big video game players, but like that was a game that they would play. It's if you've played an end game, you kind of know what to expect with the platforming. It still has a lot of those same beats. It still has like the very precise, very high skill ceiling. It has uh, punishing platforming on some of the harder stages. It has ways to like really bend and break the game if you can get like pixel perfect with your platforming and wait and looking to beat the levels in a quicker way or chase high scores or all these other things. It has fall damage. It has momentum damage. So like if you jump too high and fall, you're probably gonna get splattered. If you launch yourself too fast in a direction and hit a wall, you're probably gonna get splattered. There's ways to mitigate that. There's ways to wall slide and stop yourself. But really, really good platformer in that way. Like it can absolutely be something that you really dig down into and really enjoy yourself with. But what M Plus Infinity times 2's big thing is that it is a focus on multiplayer games. So we played 2 modes, I believe. So one of them was race, which would be, it was the 4 of us, where we would, you'd be in a level, you'd be in a room. There's the gems you can collect that go towards your score. And then there's a gate to leave the room. There might be hazards in there that can kill you. There might be things shooting you, all these things. Your goal is to collect as many tokens as you can and get to the door as fast as you can. Once someone in that match gets to the door, they then get to shoot one rocket and try to kill one of you, which obviously would affect you from getting points. But also, once somebody hits the escape door, then everyone's point bar starts to slowly decrease. So like you have this kind of gamble of, do I want to try to quickly get more tokens before I leave? Do I just want to leave as quickly as possible? I also have to worry about the fact that the person at the door has a missile if they haven't already shot it or hasn't already hit somebody or hit a wall. So you have all these things to consider, and each time someone hits the door, another missile comes out. So it's just like a really interesting layer of skill versus risk versus reward, and I did enjoy playing that mode a lot. The other mode that we played, they split us into 2v2. 2 people would be just regular runners trying to collect as many tokens as you can, and the other 2 people would be hunters, and their goal is to either just touch you, which would explode, or you can choose to shoot a missile kind of as often as you want. And
you don't just shoot, you turn into the missile.
you turn into the missile. So like that was the other thing too. That's another strategy that I realized pretty quickly, which was like, oh, I can just choose to turn into the missile and like fly myself onto a platform I want to be on and just explode, because then I am up there, because you land wherever the missile exploded. So like the hunters have like an interesting way to maneuver on those maps, but basically the regular ninjas are trying to stay alive as long as possible, collect as many gems to up their score. The hunters are trying to kill them as quickly as possible, flips flops back and forth until there's a best of 3 round winner, I believe. But it's definitely one of those things where when we were sitting there playing it, I immediately was like, if me, you, fucking Todd and Dom were sitting in one of our houses and playing this together, like this feels like a good night of Towerfall. This feels like a couple of drinks, sitting on the couch, elbowing each other, having a good time. It was one of my favorite games of Playdays. I had a blast playing it. I was so sad that at one point you and I were on the way to another appointment, but I looked over, and on that couch, I saw like, I don't know, it actually wasn't Jesse. It might have been like Alex and one other person that we knew, and they were sitting there playing it. I'm like, oh shit, Mike and I can hop over there and be the other 2. We can do this. But we had to go to this appointment, and I was like so sad because I did want to play more of it, but B, it would have been fun to play more of it with like 2 other people we knew. So I don't know if you have anything else to add or anything you want to say about M+.
I think you covered basically everything I want to say. It's a good party game that it is reminiscent of a time where like we did used to like an old couch co-op, but you might have not even co-op, but a couch party game that we used to play that you don't see much of anymore, I don't
Yeah.
think. And um I like seeing it here again now, and I hope it does really well because it is a fun game. Did they say much about like? I imagine it's going to support online play and stuff like that. I don't remember what they might have told us.
Um, I believe it is also online. I hope that's the case, but I'm almost positive they said it was an online game. I don't think it has a hard release date yet. I'm trying to like quickly scan to see that, and I'm not really sure if there is a single player mode. Let's see, their Steam
Yeah,
page
that's a
says
cool question.
five fresh flavors of world class online mayhem. There you go. From friendship testing co-op to friendship ending competitive, plus classic single player, run around with friends, lure enemies into opponents, make the ultimate sacrifice for teammates, and hunt each other with rockets. Couch ready, tournament worthy. Yeah, I like this. I mean, it feels very solid to me. It feels like very good platforming, very good controls. But this has that like very like they're very quick matches. Like we weren't in each round for a long period of time. Like you can bang out a couple of rounds pretty easily, and if you have a small amount of time, that's like a sufficient thing. Like you could bang out a couple of rounds, be happy, and like go about your day and come back and play it when you have more time or something. But I can absolutely with this being online, seeing us getting into like a 4-player scuffle from time to time.
Hmm.
So this was like for sure uh, one of the best in the show for me. I really enjoyed my time with it. This is going to be one I'm going to be keeping on my wish list on Steam. Looking forward to whenever it gets a hard release date on console or Steam, and scooping this up when it comes out because I had quite a good time with N plus Infinity times 2. I believe that puts
All
the ball back in your court, Michael.
right. All right. Speaking of, I don't know, a bunch of the words we just said, I'm just gonna pivot to Super Ukulele Kart.
Okay, okay. Keeping it in the multiplayer realm. I like it. I like it. I like
Mhm.
it.
Boy, was I not prepared for that kind of gameplay.
Have you ever played
Super
Super
Mario
Mario
Kart,
Kart?
like Super Mario Kart. Uh, I know I didn't play it back on the Super Nintendo. I'm just trying to remember
Sorry.
if.
That probably just came through on the stream. I don't know if it's going to also come through on the podcast later. As we're going, I'm opening the Steam pages to these things just to have like, if it has a
Mhm.
release date or any other relevant information we overlook. And it just was blasting the trailer for this game for a Super
Oh,
Ukulele Kart. So it is on, you know,
it's on theme.
on theme, but I apologize for that if it whatever. Anyways, sorry, you were saying.
I was saying, yeah, I know I didn't play it on the Super Nintendo. I'm trying to remember if I ever actually played it or if I just played levels in
Another Mario Kart.
another Mario Kart. It
Yeah,
might be the latter. I don't remember ever playing it.
I I agree. I'm on the same page as you. I definitely wasn't I don't know what I was expecting because I don't know if I ever saw the game prior, but I wasn't expecting it to be a Super Nintendo Mario Kart style game. But I also kind of really do get down with that, and I was having a blast, almost winning every match that we all played. Not gonna lie about that one. Um, but yeah, I mean, the that part aside, the part about not being expecting it to be that style of kart racer, how are you
Mhm.
feeling about it?
Well, it still ties back into what I initially said because like I could not get a handle of the handling, to be honest. Like I could not get my cart to kind of drive in the way I wanted it to.
Yeah,
And clearly that was a skill issue. Like I'm okay with that. I don't know
yeah.
if I'm ever gonna learn it, but
I mean, you weren't the only one. Yeah, we played with friend of the
exactly.
show, Ken Shepard. Ken also was like grappling with that in real time. So it really could just be a like I don't know what Ken's history is with Mario Kart. So like well, Ken made a point of saying I'm good at Mario Kart, but maybe
Yeah.
not Super Nintendo Mario Kart. So it is definitely a very different
It's a different kind of
yeah,
handling.
it is
Like
a
I
different
felt
kind of
as
handling.
though every single time I like maybe my thumb like just barely twitched in a certain in like left or right to the point where my cart was just drifting sideways
Yeah,
and I wasn't driving straight the way I needed it to.
yeah,
Um, but I am number one. I just kind of like the idea of another kart racing game using a different property because we've got your Mario Karts, we've got our Crash Karts, we got our Nickelodeon All Stars. So it's nice to just have one for ukulele, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I really liked it. I mean, I don't know what type of longevity a game like this would have for me, but I did enjoy playing it. I will probably scoop this up when it does come out. Like I like ukulele. I wish I should revisit the original game again because they remastered it with Yooka-Laylee. So I wonder if they fixed a lot of the things that I personally didn't like about it. We did play it last year at SGF actually. I didn't mind it. Um, it is still very evocative of that era of platformer, and just like this is also very evocative of a specific kart racer. Um, but I did enjoy my time with it. I think it's gorgeous. Like I think that on top of it just being like good pixel art and 3D art blended together, they did a lot of really nice visual effects. Like I don't know if you noticed or remembered, you'd be like driving through a forest and like flowers would be kicking up, and then like the sunbeams would be coming through the trees, which would like obviously not be a thing that would happen in something like Super Mario Kart for the SNES. But the blending of the different styles here, I think worked really well and added like some really like pleasing depth to the visual like strength of the game. So yeah, it was an interesting one. I liked it. Another one that kind of caught me by surprise because I wasn't really expecting to go into SGF thinking, yeah, I could get down with a Super Nintendo kart racer game, and here we are. So
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise despite my lack of skill at the game.
yeah, this is another one that I believe, does not have a release date at the moment. I'm curious to see how large the roster of racers are. I was playing with Laylee. If I play this game again, I will definitely continue to play with Laylee. But it had Yuka, it had Trouser, and I forget who else. I don't think the Steam page lists it. Um, Whatever the yellow character with the blue bow
Oh, with the
was.
big head.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think her name began with a V, but I cannot remember her name.
yeah. So, anyways, we're fake fans, but something to keep an eye on if you're looking for that style of kart racer. It was definitely an interesting one that I'll be looking forward to seeing more of as that game gets closer to coming out. I believe that kicks it back into my wheelhouse
Yep.
here. Let's see. Yeah, just based on like where we're at currently and the time of this episode, this is definitely going to be at least 2 episodes, if not bleed into a third. So I'm going to kick it over to. You know what? I'm going to just keep the hits coming. Another one that I really, really loved, potentially one of my games of the show, is Slap Out of It. When we got the email, maybe this is too inside baseball. When the game when the appointment for this game went out, it was like billed as a slap and solve. The name was not public yet. We didn't know the name, and I was like, I mean, I'm gonna take this appointment, A, because of the people sending me the appointment, but also B, I'm just intrigued by the paragraph you're sending me and the fact that it's called a slap and solve game, because I don't know what that means, and I would like to know more about what that means. And am I so happy that we got to play this, because this was by far one of my favorite things I played there. Slap Out of It is essentially like a first-person puzzle game where you are, as the name suggests, slapping things. You have two essentially like those like big gooey like sticky hand things you'd throw. You know what I'm talking about? Do they have a name? They probably have a name.
The ones I don't know what they're called, but the ones that you can like throw at a wall and would stick there and kind
Yeah,
of roll down.
yeah. Like it just felt like I had my limbs were that. Like I was just flapping them out there. You are slapping around because of the nature of that. Silly things might happen, silly dialogue might happen, or a character might just make a noise or look at you because you're slapping him in the face or slapping him in the butt. Uh, really funny presentation in that regard. But what really sold me on the game was not that. Like, what sold me on it was the puzzles were very good. And we're at this beginning intro slice of this game, just trying to kind of onboard you to what the game is. And, you are doing very more simple puzzles of like, oh, this person wants a, a, a cream filled donut, but you're in an office. So like, what am I gonna grab to like make this a cream filled donut? I think we had to grab like printer ink, right? Is that what we did? I think it was printer ink.
You had, I think printer ink was like the second part of it because you had, I don't know if it was by intentional or by accident that you had sprayed him with a
Oh,
fire
fire
extinguisher.
extinguisher. Yeah. So we gave him the fire. Yeah, it was both of those things. So maybe the computer ink was like frosting or something for the top of the donut
It
because he
was
wanted a cream
flavored.
filled. He wanted a cream filled donut, and maybe it was a fire extinguisher, and then the frosting was the computer ink. But this one, like again, on top of being silly and funny, but not cheesy, it didn't feel cheesy to me. It did have fun puzzles early on. It had fun puzzles as the demo went on. It did get slightly, I wouldn't say like super challenging, but you did have to think. Like you had to really think about, oh, okay, I have a lighter now. What can I light on fire? Oh, I found a crank. What does this crank do? Oh, I found a secret thing to, that could insert something. Oh, the crank. Oh, okay, the crank moves this photo, but what does this photo do? Oh, it shifts the perspective of this room. Okay, what can I do with that now? And we like did 3 of the 4 things we could do, and then we were trying to figure out how to do the final thing, and we're like, what the fuck do we do? And it was like, it felt almost immediately they were both like, oh, going through the going through that room again. And that's when it like all clicked. It's like, oh man, this game, like if this is the level of kind of like puzzle ingenuity that exists in this opening portion, I really can't wait to see what the rest of that game is like, because I was very impressed with like the cleverness of the puzzles in that little slice. I really liked the just the humor of the game was very enjoyable. This is like for sure a game that I am going to play as soon as it is out. I don't know if you have other things you want to add to this.
Not really. I think
Oh,
you covered
well,
most of it. Like I
it's
did not play it. I
broken.
just kind of watched you play it.
Yeah.
But it did strike me as my kind of game,
Yeah. Yeah.
on top of the puzzle solving, but also like just the character design and stuff. I wish I was able to hear it. I feel like the sounds would have been pretty fun
Yeah,
to listen to.
the sounds were fun to listen to. I forgot that this is one of the ones I played on a Steam Deck, so you didn't get to um hear the noise. So
Yeah.
the Steam page also does not list a release date. It says a slap and solve adventure that stretches your wits in your noodly arms in all directions. Explore impossible towers where every floor is a comedy sandbox of secrets. Meet strange characters and solve or add to their problems with a personal touch. The power to change everything is in your hands. Yeah, so there's also seemingly optional puzzles because we came across like the little little guys that we could pick up and put in the chute that
Oh
we would
yeah, for the
we
elevator. Yeah,
yeah
yeah, yeah.
we would have unlocked things if we were playing the full game, but obviously that was not the case. But yeah, a slap out of it. Fantastic. Cannot wait to play more. I'm gonna slap it over to you, Mike.
Slap it over to me. Hoo hoo hoo. You know what? I will bring up Lazy River.
Okay, okay, okay.
Lazy River. Which I mean, I feel like the immediate comparison is going to be to a game like Peak,
Yes.
where it is like in this game particularly, you are on like a lazy river. There was like a full setup to this that they explained to us where there are zombies that you kill with water. You're on this lazy river. You're going down. You're like stretching your defenses against these zombies. So you would go out onto like the land and pick up equipment, things like water balloons or water guns or pool noodles, or you would grab things that you could use to um otherwise enhance whatever your flotation device is. So like you might start off on like a little life what do they actually call those? I was
Life
gonna call it lifesaver, but I feel like there's
life
a better.
preserver,
No, because that's like a life. That's like
a life vest,
a jacket.
a life raft.
But it's specifically like either the donuts or like one of like the ones you lay down on in a pool,
Like I mean, it's just like a tube.
like a tube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the tube is what I was looking for. You start off with a tube. See, I don't go to the pool that much. I
Well,
don't know
you
what
were
these things are.
thinking. You were thinking of like the term that like the lifeguard one is. I don't know what that is called.
Yeah, but anyway, you start off with one of those, but you can like you can construct a bigger flotation device to stay on while defending yourself from these zombies. And there's also like some other aspect to it. I forget exactly what, because like obviously, like I said before, the zombies get injured by water, but you can't just stay floating in the water. Like that's not the move, because there are other things in play that you kind of are forced to uh either forge or otherwise move forward on the river.
Yeah, I mean, it also when we got to the second area, there was poison in the water, so you could go
It's
underwater.
poison in the water. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I mean. Like there's more to it than the few things I've said.
Yeah,
But that is the quick gist of it. Um and again, I don't know why I keep comparing it to Peak. It has that vibe, even though I never played Peak, because Peak requires,
it does
you
have
know,
a similar vibe.
it has a similar vibe, but I feel like is Peak more cooperative?
Um,
I feel like we were sabotaging ourselves.
we were
I feel
be
like we were
we
sabotaging
we,
each
we
other.
were being silly. I mean, you can definitely sabotage each other in peak. Similarly to here, it does not benefit you at all to do that. Like we
Yeah.
got ourselves in a situation where we were going to get overrun, and we got overrun. So if you're messing around, you're only going to put yourself in hotter water. I do want to say, the Steam page says a co-op adventure at the galaxy's most unregulated water park. Some guy peed in the pool, and the pee mixed with space water and turned everyone into zombies except you and your friends. So there's the setup.
Okay, there it is.
Build a raft, ride down the lazy river, and escape before you run out of hot dogs. So yeah, I mean, it has light survival elements. Like you can, you're crafting, you're building a bigger raft, a better vessel. You need to forage for stuff to craft other things for the raft. Or you can I think by the time we got to the end of our session, we had just put on like, a rudder and like some sort of steering contraption for the boat. We
Mhm.
had like a grill on there. We had a storage
Do we
bin.
put a turret on there?
I don't know if we did. We might have at the very end.
Okay.
Um, but like a lot of interesting stuff you can build with that. A lot of, like Mike was saying, like you using pool noodles and other things that would make sense if you're hanging around a pool or a lazy river. But it, I mean, granted, we were playing just two of us, and it was a demo of this game that's not out yet. I was having a fun time. This is a game I could see myself popping in Discord with a couple of buds, having a nice little night out of it. It's definitely one of those games that appeals to the peak players out there, or other similar, the maybe not like vibes, but like the Lethal Companies of the world, and other, you know again, also not on the vibes, but like a Phasmophobia, like those types of like co-op I mean, those are probably two bad examples. Peak is definitely a better example, and I'm like struggling in my brain knowing other similar games to tie it to, and
There's definitely other games that I'm
my brain's
blanking out
just
on.
not
Like there was
working.
like definitely a game that I had it on Steam. I deleted it because like it was one group of friends that wanted to play it. And I played it with them one time, and like either we collectively never played it again, or they just never bothered asking me to play it again.
Oh, you were that bad of it.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna find it. It's not a big deal. It was like a free game on Steam, so like it's not the most worthwhile comparison to it. But yes, this is one of those games that really only works as a communicative or friend. Let's hang out on a Discord call, bro, and just kind of play a game that requires thought. I'm not gonna say minimal thought, but like it's definitely a game that you're just vibing out playing with your buddies.
Yeah. No,
If
for
you have
sure.
those.
For sure. But this is another one I enjoyed. I mean, I think we would have a good time playing it together. I'd like to see more of how this game fleshes out when it is out, when it's getting closer to coming out. But it definitely an interesting take on that sort of style of game, that genre of like kind of low stakes survival co-op, friend game. It's ticks a lot of similar boxes for things that I know people like. I think it has you know, a relaxed but can be tense vibe. Um, I mean, it is a lazy river after all. So,
Yeah.
yeah, an interesting one. I liked it. Let's see what else. I'll let's let's do what do we want to do? Oh, I should probably tick that one because we already did that one. I don't want to redo that one. Let us do. This is probably a good time to throw something like. Let's see.
Take your time.
Well, I'm just trying to decide. We're at like the 47-minute mark. Obviously, we're not going to play the game today, so don't have to worry about that. But I'd like to keep this. I mean, we're at the point of, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We still have about 15 more things to talk about. So, like, I feel like doing all of that in one episode is silly. It's going to be like a 3-hour podcast, and I don't think we should do that. We should give people some form of reprieve from us. So let's maybe like try to squeeze in a couple of more, and then we'll call it there, and then we'll go from there. So I will choose. You know what? I'm gonna go with a game that you played, but I watched and really fucking enjoyed. Bub.
Bub was let me think of the best way to describe Bub, both in terms of gameplay and aesthetic. It was a clearly a very narratively driven game. Like you kind of just go in there and it's telling what seems like a very personal story. I never did find out for certain if it was based off of any real life events or any anything that really happened, but it seems like it was telling a story of that capacity. But the most interesting thing about it was definitely the design, the aesthetic, where they were doing what do they call it again? Like it seemed like they were all like hand drawn animations.
It's stop motion.
Stop motion. There it is. It's
Yeah.
stop motion. I said hand drawn animation because like it was stop motion that was like made with paper, right? It
So
seems like
it's using a lot of like real art. So it's like it's all real art, but like it's using like paper and
Yeah.
like it's not animated. I don't think. I believe it is all stop motion, but it's like paper and other types of crafts and paint and just like actually drawing and stuff. So it has such a striking visual to it that regardless of like you continue and I'll sprinkle my shit on top after.
Yeah. So what I'm going to say, and take this however you will, it is kind of reminiscent to, I'm going to say, mixtape, in the sense where you're just kind of, it is
Like little
the
vignettes.
game. Yeah, the game is definitely just trying to tell you a story, and you are interacting with it just to progress the story, so to speak. So, the character starts off and he's taking his bike down to his apartment. He has to quickly dry himself off because it was raining outside, he didn't have a jacket on. And then he like reminisces about this time at a beach where I believe his brother dies.
I think so.
Um,
So
and
the oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just going to continue talking about like where I think the story had gone from that point, but it's not important. That's like something you should just experience by playing the game.
Yeah, I think you should experience it, to be honest. So according to their website, uh, Paper Frog, which is the studio, is a small game studio featuring the work of stop motion animator Case Jernigan and software artist Todd Anderson. They're working on Bub, a narrative adventure game about an artist turning his memories into art while he still can. So whether it is based on like their lives, not sure. I'm sure there's probably some stuff. I don't know if it is fully. Um, let's see. On the Steam page, it says Bub is the story of an artist in New York City. He paints, sculpts, and makes worlds for people to explore, but he's losing his gift. You see, he's sick. Bub is the story of an artist turning his memories into art while he still can. Bub's journey through his past is mirrored by changes in artistic style and mood, from ink drawings to rough cut paper puppets to abstracted slashes of paint. Thousands of cut paper pieces, painted frames, and collages form the uniquely textured and layered stop motion world of Bub. The result is something personal and unique, analog artworks that create a living, breathing gaming world. Bub's the artistic project of Case and Todd, two friends in Brooklyn over the years, and through life complexities, the game has become a record of personal experience. So maybe is some truth to the stuff going on there. A kind of memory palace, if you will. Expect artistic style, mood, and sonic feeling to fluidly change as the story unfolds through the stream of consciousness musings of Bub, voiced by Whitmer Thomas, fresh off his supporting role in the currently critically acclaimed film Weapons.
Hey.
Adam,
wait. I need to look into that.
Adam Schatz of bands Landlady and Japanese Breakfast has laid down a stunning blanket of music and sound to bring the world of Bub to life. Asher Kurtz of Old Fields has contributed beautiful and textured guitar arrangements, with the duo of Some Point Sound have contributed a broad range of effects and sound design to immerse the player into the memories and streets and intimate spaces of Bub, but also immaculate. I mean, you played it. I watched. They used a splitter on the headphones so we could both listen in. I was honestly like, for a game that is not a co-op game, this was an incredible co-op experience. I loved watching you play this game. I would have watched you play the whole game and sat there and drank my Mai Tai and enjoyed myself because I was like fully invested in what was going on. The sound, the art, the visuals was all pulling me in. It was just like chef's kiss. Another one of those things that's like, oh, this is one of the best games of the show. Like this play days was just filled with things that I cannot wait to play the rest of, and Bub is no exception. This was by far one of the more if not most unique things I think that we played at play days, and it's one that I hope more people champion. There were definitely other champions of this game at Summer Game Fest. I hope that spreads because this is a game that I could absolutely see not getting talked about in a large way, but is something that absolutely I think deserves that critical lens and hopefully critical praise because I really thought it was pretty special. TBH. Anything else you want to add on Bub, Mike?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay, okay. Where do you want to take us?
Let's take a look at this list here. We'll do a little tit for tat here because I did not play this game. Screenbound.
Oh shit. Okay, okay.
Screenbound, which again, like I said, I didn't play, but from what I saw conceptually, I was really interested by because it was a game that used it is a game that you play in both 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions at roughly the same time. So this character that you play as is holding what can best be described as a Game Boy, right? He's holding like a without
Yeah,
going into like the specifics of like the actual story that's going on.
yeah.
He's holding a Game
I
Boy.
think in the game it is called Q Boy, but yes, it is
It's called
essentially for visual sake, it is a Game Boy.
it is a
Looks like a
Game
Game
Boy.
Boy. Yeah.
It looks like a Game Boy. It's a handheld gaming device that is playing in um like an 8-bit game, but he's like you're seeing yourself in this 2D gaming world, but also at the same time you are like is basically you in that same world but in 3-dimensional space. So you can look at the screen and see in front of you like, oh look, there's a bridge, there's a little like a torch in front of you. But then if you were to look around you in the real world, not real worlds, in like the video game space, you can see that same bridge in front of you,
Mm,
that same torch, but then like you also see other things around you in all 3 dimensions.
yeah. It's
Uh,
oh, go ahead.
oh, no, go ahead because you actually played the game, so you would have more insight to what was going on there.
Yeah, I mean, you're nailing kind of like the setup of the game, which I think is like a big hook for this. Is like the fact that you are moving in both spaces, sort of synchronously.
Um, there's definitely a word there, but now that you said whatever you said, I can't get the real word.
Yeah, you in tandem, you are moving around in both spaces at the same time, and utilizing the screen, which you can choose to put away at different points. Using the screen also will reveal to you maybe other platforms or hidden doors or other things that you can interact with or more gems or whatever the collectibles were. Um, very, very interesting. I think you and I both spoke about it at Summer Game Fest, where we immediately got kind of like, oh, it's like, I like this concept. It reminds me of a game like Fez, or reminds me of a game like Super Paper Mario, where like we're playing with dimensions, but those two things were like flipping dimensions and then navigating in that space. Where this game, you are like in that space both time at the same time, and
Yeah, in a Fez, you would flip, and then you would see like, oh, this thing that was on the I guess Z axis that I wouldn't have seen before, I can only see because I flipped it, as opposed to this game where like, okay, if I look at the Boy screen, I can see the X and Y, but if I were to look up, I can see X, Y, and Z
yeah,
and see whatever else is actually around me.
yeah. So
But at the same time, on the Boy, there was also things that you could only see on the Boy that you would use to like solve some other puzzles.
yeah, you definitely needed to use these screens together in order to successfully, clear stages. If you're looking at 100% stuff, obviously you would definitely need to utilize both of them as well. There are different like rooms and areas you can enter, that you would be, in just the 2D zone. So you'd be like platforming in essentially in the Boy and getting gems and doing whatever. We got to see a boss fight, and I believe the boss fight was just in the Boy. I don't know if that's all the boss fights, but the one we fought in was, I believe, just in the Boy. But it definitely has like interesting uh, perspective, the way that it's handling both platforming and puzzles with the use of kind of both of these realities, which I thought was interesting and kind of bespoke in a way. Trying to think what else. I mean, I did just kind of like enjoy this game. I thought it was a fun little platformer. I definitely want to see more of it. They definitely mentioned some other stuff that I don't think we are allowed to talk about yet, so I won't bring up some of the other things that we spoke about while we were playing the game. But for what we got to actually get our hands on, it was a fun time. It looks like there's gonna be a good amount of both puzzles and platforms here to discover and conquer. Let me see. This does, as of right now, looks like it has a planned release date of September 10th, 2026, according to the Steam page. And it looks like there's also a demo that you can download now. I don't know if it's the same demo that we played, but the demo is available. So if you're listening to this and you're also interested in checking out Screenbound, you can do that by going over their Steam page. I feel like we're probably at a good point to end at least this part 1 of our Summer Game Fest kind of recaps. But what I think we should maybe do before we do that is maybe we toss in one of the larger scope games, or at least like larger studio games that we had a chance to play. I don't know if that's Control Resonant here, or maybe it's could be Saw, could be Alien, it could be Stranger Than Heaven, it could be Onimusha.
I don't know, Papa.
Let's do actually, no. I already know if we bite off literally any other game, not just one of those that I just named, it's gonna put us closer to like $130, and I feel like this is just a good stopping point. This is just a stopping point. Like we have a lot of things we got to talk about, and that is unfortunately not going to be encapsulated in one episode of the Pass the Controller podcast. So this is just about a third of the way through. So we will either have one more Summer Game Fest recap episode or potentially two. There are a few games that we did get to see that we are not allowed to speak about yet. We can say that we've played them, but that's about it. So we will, in addition to this, at some other times, we will also get to chat about Orbitals. We'll also get to chat about our time with Star Wars Galactic Racer. And we will also get to chat about... never mind. Maybe some other stuff as well that I can't say. But we will have some other additional things that we can speak about just at a later time that we can't talk about now. But that'll do it for at least this portion of our Summer Game Fest recap. I guess the other things that I can actually say out loud, some of the other things you can look forward to us chatting about in future episode will be Control Resident, Ithaca, Shot One Fighters, Sea of Remnants, Stranger Than Heaven, Onimusha Way of the Sword, Resident Evil Veronica, Blood Dungeon, Saw Genesis, Alien Isolation 2, Clutch, My Time at Evershine, Demi and the Fractured Dream, and like I'd already said, Orbitals, as well as Star Wars Galactic Racer. I believe that is everything we saw. I don't know why I feel like there's something missing off the list, but that's where we're going to end for tonight. We appreciate you. Mike, anything else you want to say?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. I'll meet you over at the Golden Gopher.
Yeah, I'm going to scoot over there.
Okay. Damn, imagine we had a Golden Gopher here. I mean, what would be our Golden Gopher? Like, what's our Golden Gopher? I mean, it was Prince Bar. Let's just be honest.
I don't go to bars like that, so I don't know.
I know.
I'm sure there's one here that, like, is basically the same. We just don't go.
Yeah, it has a real long line, Mike.
Oh, shit.
It's probably that.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. So now you start going there. You'll have to suffer the line.
That's why people suffer the line, because they know. They know go and go means, you know what it means. Anyways, We appreciate you hanging around. Friend of the show, fan of the show. Tons of ways to support us. I'll keep it brief. Just go to our website at passthecontroller.io or playmoreindies.com. You can find everything we do over there. There's some additional writing that will go up at different points about some of these Summer Game Fest things. Not for everything, but for some stuff there will be probably some additional content there. We're playing around with trying to do more social content and small video stuff. So you might see some additional small video on our social media. If you want to go to us on Instagram or Blue Sky, just search for, on Instagram it is at Pass Controller, and on Blue Sky just search for Pass the Controller. Some of these things will also get uploaded to our YouTube channel, so just search Pass the Controller or Pass the Controller Podcast over on YouTube and you'll find us over there. Other than that, I don't know. Be good to one another. Make sure you're subscribed to us, leaving us a 5-star review, all that lovely stuff. But we appreciate you, and we will see you next time.